Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Things We Like podcast with Andrew and Brooks. I'm your host, Andrew, and that is Brooks. Brooks, how are we doing?
We are vibing today.
We're back.
We are, yeah. Sorry about last week. I was struggling. Oops. Speaking of struggling, I dropped my lid.
But yeah, I mean, it kind of worked out because you had a whole bunch to do. And last week for me, I was watching my son all week because my wife's had to shut down the city because of an event. So it was a whole thing. So she didn't have a whole lot of time to be home.
Yeah, it
so
worked out.
I was solo dadding it.
Yeah, it worked out.
Week.
Like, that's the kind of precedent I like setting for the podcast. Is like, if we need to take a week off, we can. And then I posted some, try to get in the center of the shot. I posted some of our reaction stuff, which was a lot of fun. I like the Kingsmaker one and the Tataka song. That was fun. Yeah. I wanted to start doing that.
That was super fun.
I need to make the shorts this week. That's one of the things I'm going to be working on and trying to get ahead of that. But
you had to do, I also had to ask you to do 2 episodes in a week last week on top of all the other stuff.
Yeah,
so
it's fine.
But it worked out.
It
worked
totally
out.
Did.
Though.
It was good, and we're ahead now. This week should be a lot more relaxing. I'm looking forward to it.
Dude, we took a break and a million things happened.
Yes.
A million things happened.
I think it was kind of necessary because now we have a lot to talk about.
We have so much to talk about.
So this is kind of a new segment of our podcast. We're going to call Andrew is the idea guy. He came with today. So we're going to call it Nerd News.
Yeah.
And just
I'd love to do this
stuff.
once a month if we can.
Yeah, that would be great. It keeps me on my toes, keeps me paying attention to everything, and because there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to just kind of touch on it once a month and, see how we like it. I think, and if we want to do it more often, then we can. But I feel like, it's once a month's a good precedent to set. It also prevents us from having to think really hard about our favorite things 100% of the time.
Yeah,
and lets us talk about other stuff as well.
Those things kind of come when they come, It's like they happen when they happen, and
when we get inspired, we want to do it.
Yeah, because I'll text Andrew during the week and I'll be like, "Hey, what about this? I've been thinking about this. What's up, novice? Thanks for showing up." Also, my light. I need to get those blackout curtains.
Yeah, because they're pretty cheap. They're like 10 or 15
the
bucks.
sun is like,
I see it. It's
pulling
like
back and forth, and like,
get out of here, son. This is our podcast.
I know, right? You could just say it to Micah. Get out of here. Get out of here, son. He's a cool kid.
I want to start us out, Brooks.
Yeah,
I want to start us out with, and I was showing this off so if you aren't here for the live, you're missing out fun conversations. But I was showing off this super cool controller that I recently got.
Yep.
Because emulators are on iPhone now.
That's cool. Yeah. I haven't set mine up yet.
And dude, I mean, I know Android people have had this forever, but dude, it's so nice to be able to just do whatever on my phone now. And but more importantly, I actually don't have it on my phone. I have it on my iPad.
Yeah.
This has become awesome because that's what this controller is for now. I have this little 8-bit DOE controller, the Lite 1, no joysticks. It's just D-pads and buttons, and it fits nice in a bag for to go. I can pop it up on my iPad and open my emulator. I can play SNES, NES, N64. I can play GBA, Game Boy Color.
I had
DS.
Oh wow, that's awesome!
It does a great DS emulation, actually.
My friend Adam was sending me because he got it set up, and Ian got it set up. Sorry, I can't speak. Adam was sending me screenshots of playing Pokemon Gold or Silver, and Ian was sending me Donkey Kong Country screenshots, and I'm like,
yeah.
That's very me,
dude. Yeah, but it's so awesome. A lot of the one that people are using is Delta. It's called Delta, and it used to be I want to say it used to be GBA for iOS, which was like a super popular one that people would side load.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, from what I understand, they've just been built. They built this. This has been sitting in the store, just like unconfirmed, for years. They've just been building it and updating it and fixing it and cleaning stuff up, and basically as waiting for the moment that Apple was like, all right, we can do emulators. The moment they said that, like it got sent off. They were like, all right, cool.
Yeah, they hopped in. That's really cool because I know you're big on that, and like you travel a lot and you do that.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that
like I have my my Retroid Pocket.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like I love this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for certain types of games, but like I prefer this for like Dreamcast and PlayStation and Sega games and like those kind of games. Feels like a Switch. It does feel really great for Nintendo games as well. But like, what if I don't want to carry this?
Mm-hmm.
It just takes up more space in my bag, especially if I'm trying to travel light. I don't want to take this.
And I'm sure you work on your iPad too. Like what?
Yeah, I do work. I do a ton of work on my iPad. My iPad is like my laptop. So
yeah,
like I always pretty much have it with me. So now I can just pop this controller in my bag. It's smaller. It fits better. Doesn't have joysticks to break. We were talking about the lack of drift that it could possibly have. So yeah, shout out to Apple for coming in clutch, and actually shout out for the European Union for forcing Apple to do
shout
that.
Out to the EU, baby.
Yeah,
let's get a round of applause for the EU. Heck yeah.
I can give the so basically what happened was Apple had a thing in their App Store that was basically like you're not allowed to load third-party app stores onto your iPhone. That was like prohibited.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with the EU's new regulations, that's the reason that we're getting USB-C iPhones now. On top of that, part of that was them adding in the fact that, they can't close off like third-party app stores.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of that, they were like, all right, well, here, we're going to open up emulation to everybody and let it be built into our app store now, so that, because people were getting third-party app stores anyway. They were just doing it to side load, and they were jailbreaking their phones. And they were like, people are already doing this literally for these reasons, so we're just going to go ahead and just open it up to everybody.
Yeah. It's like people are already like I remember jailbreaking a long time ago. Like the first time I ever saw it, I was like in middle school, and I was like,
yeah.
You're a brave soul for doing that to your one form of communication, but you do you, but
I ain't trying to do that.
But yeah, I knew as soon as I started seeing that, I was like, oh yeah, Andrew's gonna be all over this. Those little controllers are nice too because they're Bluetooth and they'll just hook up to your phone, which is cool.
Yeah, they're so sick. But they also double as a Switch controller as well.
Yeah, that's really true. Nice. Yeah, very cool.
So yeah, that's the emulation side of things. I think the next thing I want to touch on is the Indie World happened while we were gone. Literally the week that we were gone.
Yeah, like tell me about that. I think was that when you sent me you sent me a text, right? And you're like, "Hey, do you want to react to this?" And I was like struggling, and I was like, "Nah, man, I got too much to do." And you were like, an hour after it's over.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yep, that's typical me."
Yep. An hour after it's over, Brooke responds with, "No, I don't think I can." I was like, "Oh, yeah, you definitely can't now."
Well, yeah, it's sorry, the buzzkill. You just call me.
There were some good games. This is a thing to talk about. I think people are really upset, or I don't know. People are very hyped about the Silksong stuff, which I understand as a Hollow Knight fan, fellow Hollow Knight fan myself. I totally understand. But we also need to like calm down the chat a little bit with like spamming Silksong Hollow Knight in the chat, and just because Hollow Knight Silksong's not in the indie world, like it's an L. indie world. That's not necessarily true. There were some really interesting games in this indie world. Another Crab's Treasure being one of them.
That's the one that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that you wanted to talk
about. Also, and especially for like Chloe and Hannah's sake, because those are two of my friends who are like super, super into Hollow Knight, and they got me into Hollow Knight. I want nothing. I want to give them Silk Song. That's how much I want it. But yeah, I understand this, like, because it's been talked about for a while. To my knowledge, so it's just like,
oh, dude, it's been sitting around for like I think like 4 years or something like that. But I mean, people are waiting on it, and I get it. It's
like
Hollow
old
Knight's
news
an amazing
at this point,
game,
you know.
Yeah,
it's like it's gonna happen eventually. So like,
it's one of those things where I want it to work. But I wanted to highlight. We'll talk about the another Crab's Treasure in a second. I wanted to highlight a couple games for people to check out, because I think some of the chat was, as Chloe also said, very disrespectful to these other indie game devs by just spamming Silksong the whole time.
Okay, I understand that angle for sure.
And that's really where I'm saying it's like people are just saying, "Oh, Indie World," when it's like, "Oh, there's a bunch of other really interesting games on here."
I agree. That's pretty disrespectful to other people.
There's one called Little Kitty Big City.
I saw that.
That one looks super fun.
Yeah, that looks cute.
That one looks super fun. It's essentially like the cat version of Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, sweet.
Where you have a checklist and you create chaos, and also, you're just like,
thank you,
tripping
Hurricane,
people
for the
and
membership.
stuff.
I appreciate that. Sorry, Andrew.
Oh yeah, shouts to Hurricane. It looks super fun. It looks like a nice like chill time. I think it's gonna be super great. Chat, let's all give Hurricane a dub for joining.
Little golf clap. Little golf clap. Thank you. Appreciate that. Also, Dr. Deathwish, good morning.
So that's a good one. There's another one called Anton Blast that I've heard a lot of people talking about.
I want to talk. I'm gonna talk that. So
go for it.
Shout out to Arlo, because Arlo covers a lot of stuff. That's where I get a lot of news from, and he's very passionate about like more Nintendo based stuff, but he also talks about gaming in general. He made a good video talking about Pizza Tower and Anton Blast. Like they have
very similar.
They are very similar, but the game devs. Good morning, Ghost. By the way, the game devs are friends, so there's no animosity. There's no.
No, I think they were being developed at the same time.
Yeah, they're like they know each other, and it's like there's nothing malicious about it, you know. So like, Anton Blast, they're both Wario likes, right? So. Pizza Tower is more Wario Land 4, while Anton Blast is more Wario Land 3D for like the Virtual Boy, because you have that like the back and forth jumping, and like the Virtual Boy, from the little that I've seen, the Virtual Boy console is a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, it's trash.
The games, it sucks because the games on it, some of the games on it, like the Wario Land game, looks amazing because you like can go back and forth in perspectives and stuff like that, and like they were sadly well-made games that didn't get a lot of attention because they were released on the Virtual Boy. So yeah, there's a lot of discourse between Pizza Tower and Anton Blast, which I've been wanting to stream Pizza Tower at least once for like, because I love Wario Land 4 is like a huge game for me in my childhood.
I feel like Anton Blast is probably going to be a very you game to play.
Because they're just silly. They're well animated. Crazy. Yeah, they're silly, well animated looking, just really great pieces.
I like the
gaming.
premise of you go through the whole level, you beat the boss, and then everything starts exploding, and you have to traverse the level back to the beginning again. Yeah,
and I like the idea, the concept of like you jumping, you gain momentum with the jump, and it's like it's very smooth how you like destroy things, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
Also,
go ahead.
I was just gonna talk about another Crab's Treasure.
Yeah, go for it.
That one's big in the Souls community right now because it's apparently it's crab Souls. I really want to try that one out. I mean, there's a million games that I need to try. I literally need to write them down. And like, I know there's a Steam wish list, so I actually need to use that.
Yeah.
But Another Crab's Treasure looks awesome. Well, actually, once we're done talking about that, we can. I didn't want to derail what you were about to say, though.
No. Well, I want to highlight a couple games. There's one that Nintendo on the Switch is pushing really hard called Europa that looks pretty cool. Reminds me a lot of like a Zelda-esque game. Very adventure, travel, like traverse a world kind of deal. It looks pretty cool. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game looks freaking sick, dude. It looks so awesome. I'm not normally like a TMNT video game guy, because most of them are just like beat 'em ups with like they're the side scroll 3D beat 'em ups, you know? And so like the depth perception on those always throw me off. But this one is awesome. It's like a isometric style, so it's like top corner type deal. So the depth perception's way better. The combat looks so fun. And it's a roguelike.
Oh yeah, sick.
So you just go through it, and every time you die, you reset, and you have to like do the, and it changes all the stuff again. And so you get your power-ups and everything, but it's 4-player. So that's so awesome. Like 4-player roguelike.
I love that.
It's so cool. That one looks really cool. And then the last one I want to highlight is called Bzzzt. It's BZZT. And it looks
didn't you show this before?
I have not, but it looks awesome. You should look it up. Okay. It looks so cool.
We'll look at
we'll look at that one after Another Crab's Treasure. I want to
So
check
this
is
the
I have not seen this yet. Full thing yet.
So this is the launch trailer for it's just the PS5 launch trailer. So I'm gonna hold on, watch this. You want to see some magic? You want to see some magic? So this is the trailer.
Hit me with that cinema one.
Oh yeah, you're right.
This looks so. I love a game with a little guy.
Yeah, dude. That's good.
The hyper real.
I know. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love it. So sick.
Dude, yeah, let's go.
Crabbiest Souls. This Souls-like has crabs.
Find that treasure! Oh yeah, I also wanted to mention the crazy murderous crabs outside trying
to... Begone, little hermit, I
love the voice acting.
Yes, ma'am!
I love the voice acting in this.
I've
been working my butt off trying to get my old life back!
That's
golly.
Mine.
It's time for crab. That's so cute.
Dude, it's freaking adorable. And I love it's kind of brutal actually, because I keep seeing this clip of people fighting like somebody early on, and he has like a guillotine, and he just like kills you immediately if he grabs you.
What is that Death Grip song where he just goes guillotine? It's like followed by static. That's that's Crab Souls.
Yeah, dude. 100%. It's out now. Yeah, everybody, it's out now, so you should 100% go grab that. I actually think it might be on sale on the Switch store right now. Like slightly, like a 15% discount or something.
I will say one thing I'm not super keen on, like, is the voice acting. I
like it. It feels very anime to me, and that's kind of why I like it.
It is cute, and it is that way. I'm mainly speaking from like a Souls perspective of like, the protagonist is usually silent, and you don't always have to do that. I'm just being nitpicky. It's like it doesn't affect the quality of the game at all. It's just my taste. But like
Chloe says, it's on Game Pass right now. If you have Game Pass and you're an Xbox guy, you can grab it on Game Pass.
My sister
right now.
has one actually. So also let's watch Bzzzt.
It's awesome. Do official launch trailer maybe.
This one?
Yeah, I think.
Okay,
yeah, look, this game is freaking so cool, dude.
Okay, so this is Bzzzt.
I love a little guy, man.
Yeah,
I love a tiny dude that's just like flying around everywhere. This is like my game.
Tiny little fella game. That's basically
tiny little fella game.
It's a tiny little fella like.
Yeah. This is a love letter to like a bunch of SNES games.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Oh, that's cool.
It also kind of reminds me of Super Meat Boy. Who played that?
Also, like Celeste, how you shoot around.
Yep.
This game looks really damn good.
It looks beautiful.
Reminds me of like
and hold on, there's a part on it that's also a side scroll like shooter.
Oh,
there you
go. That's like Life Force or like Gradius or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, dude. It looks so cool.
Mega Man, Metroid, like
very Mega Man meets Metroid meets like almost like Contra.
Oh yeah, the music is gorgeous.
Awesome. And he's just a little guy.
It's been 4 years since Karel Mateka, the solo developer behind the Bzzzt game, started this project. We are super excited that the game is finally out. You can expect ever-changing gameplay, pleasant platformer challenges, and a story full of twists, all wrapped in cute pixel art with a ton of polished animations.
Oh, dude, I love the dashing.
Being a real speedrunner.
Yeah,
perfectly
it feels satisfying to look at, doesn't it?
Hidden rhythm and compete with others to get the best score.
The guy just mentioned it in the thing where it's like, this is like a speedrunner's dream.
Oh yeah, dude, straight up. This is every speedrunner in the world is salivating over this game right now, dude. You know, like the way they did over Celeste. Same kind of
that
thing.
Is incredible.
Yeah, dude. This is the one that it only had like a tiny little spot in the indie world. But I saw it and I immediately looked it up.
Yeah, that's a very you game.
And I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" Yeah, and there's a bunch of other games. Steam World Heist was the big game that one last thing that they announced in the indie world. Steam World Heist 2.
Oh, Steam World Heist 2. Okay, we'll do this.
Yep.
I'll
reveal
do
trailer.
I'll do. I'll make these little reaction things for us for later, but SteamWorld Heist 2 is what you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay, let's check it out.
It's pretty cool. I thought it was pretty interesting.
It's like a community type game?
No, I think it's like an RPG.
Oh.
Like tactical. But pirates. Robot pirates.
Is it sort of like Worms?
Yep, very similar.
Yeah, I love that. I played Worms 3D a long time ago and really loved it.
Yep, very similar to Worms. If you like those kind of games, this is very, very, very similar.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
And I think you can like the amount of crew options is like really
the fish
really strong.
Head. Yeah, the fish hats. That's very good. This is pleasant. Even though it's violent, like you're shooting a bunch of things. It's such a weird dynamic of like a very pleasant presentation. I want the banjo gun, whatever the fuck that was.
And the bosses look sick, actually.
Around is a life of undelightment.
That's so nice.
Yeah. So I know SteamWorld is like a popular franchise. So this was their one more thing on the indie world. Seems cool. Yeah. Seems cool. Seems a little weird for a one more thing, but I do know that they have like a very strong fan base for their franchise.
That was incredibly pleasant to watch.
Yeah. It was I was very, very pleased with it as like a game that I've never heard of before. So
very cool. So how about we use this to segue into the next point? But yeah, let's go through chat.
That's all the indie world stuff that I had to talk about.
That's
I just wanted to talk about it because there was a lot of games that I don't think enough people are talking about, and so
a lot of good games coming out.
Hearing me out on that.
So let's do a recap, just so I can. I'm gonna take notes of this, and then we'll hop into chat. Let me get a note up real quick. Let's see games. So we got another Crab's Treasure, another Crab's just another Crabs is what I'm gonna put.
Another Crab's Treasure.
Bzzzt. That's a good one.
Little Kitty, Big City.
Yep.
Anton Blast.
Yeah, Little Kit, Big Sit. Anton Blast is another one that I definitely need to play.
And then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate is what that one's called, if people are interested. Fate? It looks so cool. Legitimately looks very, very awesome. I'm probably gonna buy this.
And then this one is,
I might stream that one.
Heist, the SteamWorld Heist 2. Yeah, so a lot of cool games right there. Like that's enough games to last you a whole year.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, they're indie games, so they're probably not going to be like as long as your bigger,
of course,
AAA or AA titles. Like they're not going to be massive, 100+ hour games most of the time. But at the same time, like the replayability of them is probably pretty high.
Oh, absolute.
Like specifically for like Bzzzt and for Anton Blast, those two are probably going to have, especially for people who like to speedrun, massive replayability.
Yeah, I honestly, a lot of good titles. I'd like to, even if I streamed them like once, that's something cool to have.
100%. 100%, dude.
In the repertoire,
Let's go through chat.
Yeah. Hurricane, let's see, was telling me to grow out the beard. I actually got it trimmed yesterday, which was really nice. It's the first time because my neckline is a lot cleaner than it was last time you saw it. Dr. Deathwish.
I need to go get mine done.
Yeah. I went. It was so nice. The Survivalist went on sale, and I bought it and played with some friends. It's got monkeys. I'm sold.
Well, it's a Brooks game.
He's just like, just like, what did you say? Oh my god. Let's see. Virtual Boy gave me a headache. Yeah, dude. It was a terrible console
with the red everywhere.
Yeah, just burning your retinas. Have you played the Sandland game yet? Oh, that's So right here, this is what he's talking about. I have.
Oh, what's that?
Let's see. Oh yeah.
It looks cool.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah. I love Toriyama's character designs. R.I.P. I love Toriyama's character designs.
Check those out.
They're so fun. They're so fun.
They are, yeah. This guy's ass whipped by a bug. Yeah, it's almost like an anti-hero, it seems like.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like that. I wish I could play all of it and react to it, but I can't because it's Sandstorm. But that's a great integration of the song, though.
I know. It's really nice. Yeah, that's cool. I have seen that. I don't know much about it though. Like I don't know what style of game it is or anything like that. Yeah, it looks cool. If some of that is gameplay and not cutscene.
Let's see. There's an assist mode where you can give the little guy a gun. Is it?
Oh yeah, for another Crab's Treasure, there's an assist mode that you can just turn on, and his shell becomes a gun. And he one shots everything.
That's
the gun
how I would
instant
play.
kills everything.
That is awesome.
So
that's
funny.
so great. I love that. I need to play that game. I could probably do it in one sitting if that's how it is. If it's super short.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool. Yeah, you should do the gun only playthrough.
That's how I'm playing through Final Fantasy with Scott right now. It's just turning on like the infinite limit break and just whooping the game's ass. You know, like
that's awesome.
That's kind of how I like to play games anyway. So that is, I love features like that in games.
Yeah.
So, and then Hurricane says short kings and queens. For the win. I like that.
We love our little guys and little peoples.
We do. So let's hop into this next topic. This one's a big one. This is like the big one. Hold on. Let me prepare. Why AAA games are blowing ass and indie games and indie devs are like, that's in right now. Mm-hmm. All of the best games that are out right now, Baldur's Gate 3, Helldivers 2, those games are developed by indies. Like Larian is an indie developer, but the game's quality is so nice that it looks AAA and it feels AAA. And there's so many AAA, like for example, the Battlefront release.
I heard that was botched so bad.
Yeah,
and Call of Duty. I heard both of those were botched so bad.
Those games, the release was terrible for that, Mm-hmm. And what's the new?
Even if we look back at like what Cyberpunk happened the first time it released, it was so bad. They had to do so much patchwork to make that game good.
What else what's the new Star Wars Ubisoft game?
Oh,
hold on, Star Wars. I'll look it up. It's Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
If you go on their website or whatever, I'm gonna see if I can find it. Star Wars Outlaws. Ubisoft. So I'm gonna show you what this looks like. It's literally just there's one pre-order, there's another pre-order.
Mm-hmm. Do we have any gameplay of it at all, or no?
We do. There's 3 pre-order number 3.
Okay.
Season pass.
Characters you can play as.
Yeah. And then,
but like, is it doing the thing? Is it doing the microtransaction thing?
Oh yeah, look at this. I immediately hit pre-order, sends me right to the Ultimate Edition. And
it's a monthly.
It's a monthly bullshit, And then if I just wanted to buy the Ultimate Edition and not have that, it's like $130 for this. Like, hell no. I could be playing another Crab's Treasure for like
for
nothing.
$30.
Yeah, I know, right? So like this is the big there's a lot of issues, right?
Sure.
But this is a really big one. It's like it seems like AAA games are just balls to the wall, like let's put everything on the table and we better get a return.
Yeah. Instead of being like Baldur's Gate, where it's like we're gonna put everything into this, make it such a high quality game, and it's just the cost of the game.
But the paradox of that, I agree. The paradox of that is that the bigger the game, the less risks. The bigger the game and the higher the budget, the less risks they want to take because they want to appeal to like a bigger demographic. I'm actually in the chat. I'm going to link Actman's latest video. Shout out to Actman. He makes good stuff and he covers a lot of this stuff. Yeah. This is the video I watched yesterday to prepare for this, and I agree with what he's saying.
Yeah, you sent me this video. I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's really good.
But there's also the side of it that's like
I'll show it here. But
that's fine. There's also the side of it that's like games getting dropped and not being done. But also you're still paying the $120, $140 price tag.
That and
for
like
all of
games
this
are
stuff.
they're just made like half-assed and like not finished. Like Cyberpunk was a big one where it just released and it was like a AAA game that was released and it was like a super shitty release. Redfall was like
Pokemon.
Yeah, I know Andrew feels strong. Well, that's so true though, because like Pokemon is technically a AAA game. So like here's the
one of the largest the largest franchise in the world.
Yeah, and then they just rush it out, and they don't. There's no quality control. There's no like, and I mean there are good things about the games, but like. Sure. Here's where it is, and here's where it could have been. So just to break down to this video, there's like going over what AAA means and like games have gotten too big. That's another one is like you were saying,
games are huge.
So like we just went over how many cool indie games, like we went over like 6 to 7 fun little indie games that could last you a year or like 6 months. You know, just having a bunch of those. There are a lot of smaller games for way less money and they're shorter, but the quality is like so tightly packed into that. Aside from something like, what is it, Starfield or whatever? That's like,
I heard that one was really bad too.
It's just a massive budget, years of development time, and for what? You know, like a mid game, and then like and there's
Bethesda, but Bethesda has that bag, right?
And
like that's kind of their MO, isn't it? Is like shitting the bed a little bit on the release of their games.
Yeah.
Like wasn't all the Fallouts that way? Skyrim was kind of that way when it first came out. Like they all have these weird little things to them.
It's weird because
they weren't as bad as Starfield though. I think Starfield's was like
there's
significantly worse.
And you
a
know,
lot of empty space.
What is it? The Suicide Squad game was another example of just
big
games that
really
just
bad.
destroyed the legacy of the Arkham games and stuff. So there's like our AAA games too safe, and then like we need more AA games and like indie versus AAA. That's what we've been talking about, and like you've been a lack of creative control. So this video is pretty good. I also want to talk about another thing where emulation and like game preservation. There's one guy who is on this huge campaign, owning games campaign. I forgot the guy. A Curse Farm. This guy. So this is like a 30-minute video of this guy he is doing his best to try and advocate for game preservation and like actually owning games, because the way things are going is like, according to these people. And again, I'm gonna preface all this with like, do your own research too. I wish I had more time to really study this and like go and look up article after article after article. But this is I'm doing the best I can. Take everything you hear from these guys with a grain of salt. Never take anything you hear ever at face value, even from us. Like I would advocate for that, because we're not trying to spread misinformation. That's never the goal. If anything, correct us if we're wrong. Like being wrong is a great thing because you learn from it. This is just what I've seen, and this is the conclusions that I've made. And it's kind of the perspective that you, Andrew, that you and I have is essentially like regular dudes who have lives, who love video games, who can only do so much, we only have time in our brains and in our days for so much information. So this is how we get information. This is how we get our baseline information, right? So we have to take what this guy says, and then if we're super passionate about it, we dig deeper. You know? So, but this guy basically is like talking about it. This is also a great video, by the way. Talking about just what he plans to do, and like the whole idea of and like loot boxes and stuff. I don't think realistically we'll get like game regulation legislation, because the people,
it's very complicated.
It is very complicated. And also the people who are elected and who are in the thing are like old people that don't really
care.
They don't care and they don't understand. It's like, what, video games? Like, we have like real things to talk about, so they don't really understand it. And I mean, it is important, but like all that to say is like these people don't really understand this medium enough. So
there's also the fact of like the game preservation side of things, and this has to go with the AAA game side of things, is that I hate that the physical copies are now just a key to download the game.
Yeah, I love physical copies. Yeah.
Yeah. And like but the physical copies don't do anything.
Yeah, they're just keys, like you said.
If you aren't connected to the internet, you can't just put in the game and go.
I hate that.
So like I think that's really annoying. That's kind of why I actually do like the Switch still over some of the other consoles, because when you buy a physical cartridge, it is still like the physical cartridge, because you could take it around with you.
Yeah.
You could be anywhere.
I'm excited for the
game.
Switch too, but I'm also afraid that like some of the games that I have on my Switch will not be able to be played, and maybe that's just an irrational fear. But
what I have heard is that they are updating the cloud-based system to be more like a Xbox PlayStation cloud-based system, to where cloud games that are bought online will be transferable between console. So that is incentivizing the purchase of the cloud-based, which are generally higher priced, generally speaking, higher prices. You can't buy them used, all that kind of stuff. But it does give you transferable between device. So pros and cons of each.
Yeah. So all that to say, I love that indie developers and indie games are blowing AAA games out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
I love that because
people have been playing Hollow Knight since it came out and just haven't stopped.
Yeah, and especially like
Celeste, same thing.
Yeah, and like again, like your Baldur's Gates and your Helldivers 2s, like those games are. What else is there? There is
Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley, an incredible game. I actually don't know if that's an indie developer or not. I think it's an indie developer.
What's that one game? I can't think of the name of the game. I know it's newer. Let me see. I'm gonna have to go back and let me check, because I know
that's fine. There's like, while you're looking for that, there's a bunch of games that go into this idea of let's give as much as we possibly can up front with no excess cost, on top of that, which I am a bigger fan of personally. I'm trying to find I'm always trying to find these new indie devs that are super passionate about their thing. We're talking about like Devolver and Team Cherry, and like obviously those are like the bigger ones, but there's a bunch of other ones, but I don't know. I feel like they make such interesting stuff. They're more fun. They're more interesting. Yes, they're not like the super high graphical fidelity or anything like that of some of the games, but they're just, I don't know. They do a better job, in my opinion, of doing what, like Hades, I think, is another really good example.
Hades is a great example. That and Pal World.
Yeah. All those are really great examples of like, we're going to give all we can to this, maybe have some DLC, but it's going to be, a single option DLC. It's not going to be DLC that essentially removes a section of the game, which I think the Star Wars thing did. It's like you have to buy the Ultimate Edition in order to get the Jabba the Hutt thing, in order to like go down that storyline. And like if you don't buy that edition of the game, you just don't get that storyline at all. Like they are closing off an entire section of the game because they want you to spend $150 or whatever the heck it is.
Oh yeah, there's one game that I'm thinking of in particular. It's like Oh, it was really popular. It's like those guys, like they drop them and like they're trying to run away from like aliens or something. It's not Helldivers.
Talking about
it was
the serial killer game. Where they're like Dead by Daylight or whatever.
Dead by Daylight. No, not quite. This is bugging me so bad.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
If you saw it, you'd know. I'm gonna go to Donkey. Help me out. Shout out to Donkey. Also, Donkey.
Donkey's game is about to come out too.
Yeah, that's true. Big Mode or whatever.
Yeah.
There is that other video, that other game where it's like, I'm gonna show this right here. The one where it's like, you're like trying to make a viral video on YouTube.
Oh, that's funny.
There's that one. There's a game where it's just like you're just going around trying to make a viral video. It's like you're like doing like content stuff. I know it's here. Shout out to Donkey. Donkey's one of my favorites. Always has been. See, there's the Big Mode. Big Mode stuff is really cool.
Yeah.
What Lethal Company? Lethal Company is what I was thinking of. Lethal Company was made by like one dude.
Yeah.
I think. Let me double check. Who developed Lethal?
Yes, Hurricane. Donkey has a game that's about to come out under his indie development company, Big Mode.
Yeah, Lethal Company. It was developed by one dude, and it became huge. Zeekers, yeah. Lethal Company, yeah. Yeah, Donkey has... Well, Donkey, it's essentially like a publisher, I think, Big Mode. We can look at it. Donkey, Big Mode. So if you're interested in it, indie publishing.
It's a publishing. Yeah, it's a publishing company.
2015, me and Leah went to our first ever PAX convention. Back he's been to slam dunk soulless cash grabs into
worms. What is this game?
Cash grab dunks.
It's like it's like a meme on his channel. It's really fun.
Gotcha.
Where they come to formulate the look of your favorite games.
Oh yeah.
Don't deliver where it
Wasn't Cuphead also an indie game?
Cuphead's an indie game. That's another great example, actually.
Mediocrity. You need someone who can help you be seen. I want Big Mode to act as my seal of approval, which is something that I do.
I love those stickers. I want one.
I am not looking for creative control over your games, but I do want to be involved. I'm sick of sitting on the sidelines waiting for great games to appear. Now I want to get in there and help make it happen.
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima said that his body is made up of 70% movies. My body is much bigger, and it's made of 300% video games. These days, I feel like I play nearly every game.
I love Donkey so much. Like, that's the one. Like, if Donkey says it's good or bad, I'm like, that motherfucker's spitting. Yeah, he knows. Like,
so yeah,
he actually plays them all.
Yeah, dude. No, it's there's a lot happening in that space that I think is gonna. I think it's really cool that like. Obviously, the AAA games are going to have their money. You're going to have your big games that are going to blow up and be huge. But also, like, I would love for the indie game devs to get the light shown on them that they deserve. And I feel like in the last, like, 2 to 3 years, they've kind of taken over the space a lot.
For sure. So this was like a SparkNotes version of everything that's going on. It's a very just like surface level.
Go check out the videos that Brooks is gonna drop in the description if you want like a deeper dive, because like I haven't watched them and Brooks watched them, but is trying to distill a 30-minute video down into 5 minutes.
Yeah, there's way too much to talk about at face value. But yeah, if you want to go down the rabbit hole of like talking about certain things and like just very specific video essays, and like honestly nowadays when it comes to news and just things like content creators, like that's like very good advice that I have. If you don't really know where you're looking, look to the content creators because they are passionate about it. But again, you have to not take everything they say as face value. Yeah. It's just an entry point to these topics in a more distilled, digestible way.
Yeah.
So it's honestly up to us to like figure out what's true and what's bullshit.
We're trying to filter.
That's in everything that you do. But as a way to like filter tons of information into tiny little, sorry, I hit the mic, digestible pieces, that is a great place to start.
100%. I have one more thing I would like to discuss before we close out the podcast. But if we want to do a chat check real quick, we can.
Yeah, we'll do that.
All right.
It's more about the
passion. Check.
More about passion put into the games. You said ocean, right? I don't remember. Content.
What is Donkey's game called, actually?
I think it's called Animal something. It's I can find it. It is, oh my god. Animal City.
What is his game called? Because I cannot remember what it is called.
Donkey Animal Well is what it's called.
Animal Well. Got it.
So yeah, it's called Animal
that's supposed to come out. That's supposed to come out like super soon.
Yep. There's that. And then Hades 2 is coming out. It should be pretty good because I know
it
Chloe
looks really
likes Hades.
Sick. And Hurricane was saying it looks pretty cool from what they've seen so far.
So much better than Pearl Remix. Cutscene is kind of like gameplay.
I agree with the idea of I prefer a physical copy, but a digital backup being a really nice thing to have.
Yeah.
What I really wish they would do is, and I would actually be willing to say, I think a lot of people would agree with this, is that I would be willing to pay more for a physical copy if it came with, or pay for a physical copy and get like a 20% or 30% discount on like a digital copy, or pay more for a physical copy slightly, but get a digital key for a download and like be able to have both as like a, backup.
Right. Yep.
I feel like that's something, and I'm sure there are reasons to not do that. But like, I feel like for me, that would be much better because it would incentivize the physical copies, but also you don't have to do it,
Yep.
So that's all for chat check. I got one more thing I want to talk about. Brooks, you have recently watched the new Fallout show.
I've only seen a few episodes, but it's
How are we feeling about it?
I'm on like episode 3 right now, but the first 2 episodes, dude, chef's kiss. It's amazing. Like it makes me want to get back into Fallout because I played Fallout 3, right? I've been dying to play New Vegas. Yeah. And I'd like to go back and try all the older Fallouts, which is like the 2.5, like almost it looks like Diablo but Fallout.
Yeah. The older ones.
But yeah, it's
the 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's very, very good. We also have to talk about the Garry's Mod thing.
Yeah, we do have to talk about that. So we got 2 more things to talk about. So let's talk about this first. So Fallout, very cool. I feel like this is a step in the right direction for games becoming shows and live action and movies. We are in a heyday right now. Of this. We have Fallout killing it. The Fallout is, the show is turning people onto the franchise, and then now people are either going back and rebuying and replaying the games, or people that have never played the games like myself are wanting to play the games because they're like, I want to exist in this world. It's so cool and interesting and like different.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Matthew Perry. He was the voice actor for oh my god.
4, right?
New Vegas. So
New Vegas.
Matthew
the Courier,
Perry,
right?
Vegas. Yeah. Benny. He was the voice actor for Benny. And he's the guy you see the game, or you start the game and he shoots you in the head and like, well, the Courier, you're the Courier. But Benny
that's
is
what I'm saying.
Yeah, Benny is the guy who like initiates the game, essentially. He's the guy in a checkered suit, and you can find him halfway through the game, and he goes, what in the goddamn? Like that's just so. But shout out to Matthew Perry. He went on a talk show at one point, and he was like, "Dude, I played Fallout 3 so much I got carpal tunnel and had to get shots in his wrist because he just loved the games, which is amazing." And like that, I love that so much. That was my favorite Matthew Perry bit. But
we look at that. We look at the Sonic movies doing very well.
Yes.
Very well. And we also look at The Last of Us being like arguably one of the greatest shows that I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
It was so well done. So incredibly well done.
I didn't see it, but I've heard a lot of good about it.
Yeah, and then like the Mario movie did really well as on the animated side.
It grossed over $1 billion.
Yeah, it did super well. My son watches it all the time. It got him to want to let me play video games because now we can play Mario games.
Yeah, and I love that because, you know, a long time ago, it was like your Street Fighters and your Super Mario Brothers movie with like the live action.
They were all bad.
Yeah, and it was, or like, do you know who Uwe Boll is?
No.
So Uwe Boll is I think he's a German filmmaker. He made like Alone in the Dark, which is supposed to be a really terrible movie, but it's based on a really niche, obscure, but important horror game. But he would do it for tax right. He did let's see, Uwe Boll movies. I know he did Alone in the Dark, and it is like nothing like the original. Uwe Boll. But he does it for like tax write-offs. They're like terrible movies, but
that's funny.
I think he did.
Well, and I would also say like the Detective Pikachu movie, fan-freaking-tastic. Loved the Detective Pikachu movie. I thought it was so cool.
I want to show you, just to not to super derail what you're saying, but Alone in the Dark. I want to show you kind of what Alone in the Dark looks like, the movie version, and I'm going to show you what it's based on. So Alone in the Dark, Tara Reid, Christian Slater. Oh, I'm not going to. So he's supposed to be Edward Carnby.
Yeah.
And like...
Is it like a evil thing trying to kill him, like alien monster thing?
Yeah, there's evil. Look at all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
Exploding. You want to know what Alone in the Dark looks like on fucking like MS-DOS? It looks like fucking this. It looks like fucking this.
Yeah.
That's Edward Carnby. It's set in like the 20s. Like, what the fuck?
That's not even remotely the same thing.
No. This game can be beaten in an hour. Like, what?
Dude, I want to play that game.
Look at that shit.
I want to play that game now.
I do too. I have to. I don't know. I don't even know how to get it to run. But, like, listen to this. Just... Just like, what the fuck?
That's so
That's
funny,
a jellyfish demon.
In a bathtub. The music makes it slightly less funny, I'm going to be real, but that noise makes it hilarious. Oh.
So yeah, that's what I meant by like, just to add to the whole thing of like, they used to be bad, but you were correct. In the world of like visual entertainment, well, like movies and shows, like we are eating right now. Like gamers are eating. Yeah.
Well, and like some people love it, some people hate it. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie did really well on launch. I know a lot of people like went and saw it. So it sold really well. The recent Mortal Kombat movie looked awesome. And I know it did pretty well. And then I think I'm a sucker for like, if we're talking older movies, like the Silent Hill movies, but I think, and like the Detective Pikachu movie recently did really well. There's a lot of really good video game movies lately, and I'm really hope that they like lean into it even more, right? And like obviously anime, people do it in anime, but I'm loving these live action ones that people are doing, man.
That's
I'm
a great point too.
stoked.
Yeah.
Like specifically because they're live action. I think it's been really, really cool. I want to see games like a really good example of a game I think that would do really well, Dead Space. I think Dead Space would be such a cool movie.
That's such a great idea to make a Dead Space show, but like cuz the Dead Space lore, I don't know how deep you've gone into
very loose on it.
Okay, so the Dead Space lore, let's just say Dead Space takes place here. The lore starts back here.
Yeah,
it's like this much stuff to get to Dead Space 1.
Golly.
So it's insane. It's so deep. It's crazy if you go into like a huge deep dive of I'm drawing blanks, but like the whole concept of that big rock that like came from the alien planet, but it like controls people in weird ways and like it messes your mind up and it turns people into those like horrible abominations.
Yeah, the Xeon, whatever the heck they're called. I don't remember. I don't remember what the aliens are called in
it's
Dead
not
Space,
not xenomorph, but it's that's alien, but
aliens in Dead
necromorphs
Space.
is what they're called. Necromorphs, I believe.
Yes, they're called the necromorphs. Yes, that's correct. Yeah. I just looked it up.
Okay,
good job, Brooks, remembering what I can't. But yeah, I think on a positive side of video games, the video game to movie pipeline has been killing, or video game to show pipeline has just been like really, really, really great.
Like I said, I'm like 2 episodes into Fallout, and it is it's so good. It's just like super well made. I love the direction that they're taking it. And again, I'm very limited on my Fallout lore, so it could be shit. I don't know.
It's also not based on a game. It's just based on the world.
Yeah, it's
which I actually love more than the fact that they're like one for oneing a game.
Yeah, this isn't a spoiler by any means. This is like episode 1, 2. So we're familiar with the power armor in Fallout,
3,
right? Like the Brotherhood of Steel, power armor. It's everywhere in the games. In the games, like if I'm playing Fallout 3, you just slip in real easy and you're super mobile. You can use regular guns and stuff like that. You know, you got like your laser pistols and your whatever. In the show, the power armors have weight behind them. Like they're big, they're massive. It's a much more realistic take,
more cumbersome,
on the power armor dynamic, which is interesting. It's a little jarring because of what I'm used to. Is like, you could just if you're like a vault dweller and you just find power armor, you just hop in and then you just. That's how they run. Yeah. You run through the world and this like big bulky power armor.
Chink, 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 chink.
And it's just like, it's jarring, but it is cool. I like the direction that they're going, and they're building a really cool story out of it. And it's very vague as to what's going on. The characters are like, just from episode 1, they start very pathetic. Like the main characters are pathetic based on,
well, apparently it only gets better from what you've watched as well.
Yeah.
Like I've only heard positive things from literally everybody on the internet.
Like the characters start off like really pathetic, but they're like starting to grow into their own and like trying to discover what the world is really like, because the whole theme of Fallout is like you take a vault dweller who all they know is like life in the vault. They get out into the real world and they have to make their own decisions. They have to like form their own opinions. They have to like, especially in New Vegas, where you have to like basically pick who rules for the next X amount of time. You've got so many different factions. You've got so many ideologies thrown around. It's very complex. It's like real life, It's like, there's so many ideas that are floating around in so many ways. It's like, what is truly correct? And there's not really a solid answer. It's whatever the courier or you deem is correct for you. but you have to implement that to everyone. It's very very cerebral kind of game, and like I like that.
Yeah, I'm also a big fan of. They did a very similar thing to The Last of Us, but in a different way. So obviously, The Last of Us has a very particular storyline that it's following. The video game and show storyline are pretty 1-to-1, but I like what they did where they took an episode out and they're just going to be like, all right, this character that you in the game you only see for like 2 or 3 seconds and then he's dead. We're going to expand on this character deeply, which is super cool. And we're gonna explore and live in this world and make it feel a little more lived in to help you understand like the depth of these like normal people.
Right.
So and I like that's what they're doing. It seems like that's what they're doing with the Fallout franchise as well.
So cool.
With this, they're like letting you live in this world a lot more. And it makes you want to play the games again.
It does. I was literally watching and I was like, damn, I really need to get into that. Also, Hurricane says, apparently, I think you need to reach certain points to receive training before you can use power armor. I don't remember that 100%. You could be right. I just don't remember. So
I think he means like in the earlier games.
Oh, like, maybe in the earlier
game. Like 1 or 2.
Possibly, because like I remember in 3, like I would just find a set and like, but I could be wrong. I haven't played it in a long time, so it doesn't matter. Yeah,
but I don't remember.
Anyways,
I never played it.
All that to say is like you are correct, and like the media that we're getting now with Sonic, with Fallout, with Mario, and all these other things, like it's really really great to be. Not only that, I can imagine being a kid right now. And just being in like Micah, like your son, like
oh yeah, dude.
Just
so many cool games.
Oh man, so many cool games. Cool movies.
He's been loving Crypt of the Necrodancer, and like the pipeline was, he watched the Mario movie. We started playing Mario, and then we started playing Hollow Knight because he saw me playing that and really liked it.
Yeah,
and then wanted to play the music game.
Yeah.
And so now we're playing Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Nice.
And like we just have all these games that we can play together now, and it's super fun.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Nintendo.
Yeah, we need to talk about it.
Yeah, so this is a more dour note for all of our mod community and homebrew gaming community out there. So Brooks has brought to my attention that Nintendo is now, you said suing?
No, they're copyright claiming, like DMCAing.
Got you.
Like
Garry's mod.
Yeah, and they're trying to take like 20 years, almost 2 decades of like modded content for. Do you know the channel SMG4? They make like not. So I'll show you some of their stuff. They've been doing this for a long. SMG4.
I know Garry's mod is like a staple of the community.
So SMG4, I'll just show you the channel. He's been making like funny Gmod style stuff, and Mario is a big part of that, and he just makes funny.
Got it.
Like, let's go to the most popular. Like,
so I know Garry's mod is like big in Counter-Strike. That's kind of where I know it from.
Yeah, so I just think, and you know, the worst part about it is that Nintendo is absolutely within their right to do it.
Because I know that sucks.
I know, and it's just like we can bitch about it all we want to, but like they have
it's their
the
franchise,
legal
man.
right to go and do that. That being said,
it's their IP.
Everything that Nintendo does is anti-consumer and like anti-player. It seems like, and within the last decade or so.
Yeah, the Zelda thing with Crow. With Point Crow.
Oh yeah, because they were like, and they with the thing with Yuzu, like they took it down, and that again, it is.
I can
fair
understand
because they had a paywall behind it, and it's like, okay, well, you know,
that's on Yuzu for being stupid.
Yeah, essentially, that from what I know, that was not the right thing to do.
No, because they're not allowed to get paid. That's how Dolphin exists.
Yeah,
Dolphin is free.
Because you can't charge for that. But the thing is, the issue is that Nintendo is doing everything they can So emulation exists for game preservation. If it just existed for game preservation alone, like that would be enough. Because think about games like, think about the Virtual Boy, for example.
Yeah.
How the fuck are we supposed to play Virtual Boy games now?
I think there's a way. Well, outside of emulation, not outside of emulation. But
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like emulation. Yeah, absolutely. You could just dump the ROMs and just play them, you know. But outside of emulation, are you telling me that if I want to play Wario, you know, goes to fucking wherever. I don't know. Wario Virtual goes to Land. Fucking Target on Virtual Boy. I don't know why he would be there. Anyway, stupid, not funny. But if I wanted to play that on original hardware, I would have to track down a Virtual Boy sold by some dude or some
hope it works.
Yeah, or sold by some like very obscure game store.
Yeah. Also get the game.
Hope and pray to God, like you said. Hope and pray to God that it works, and I didn't get scanned. And just sit there and burn my eyes out on this piece of shit.
Yeah.
Piece of technology.
So,
like,
I think for the people, because there's a couple people. I think Hurricane said it, and like for the people at home who may not know what Garry's Mod is, I think you should explain what that is first, so that people can understand what we're talking about.
Honestly, how do you explain Garry's Mod? Because like, what is Garry's? I want to make sure that I get this. I don't want to. I've played Garry's Mod and I've had it on my, forever. But what is Garry's Mod?
So Garry's Mod. I'll read the description that I have in front of me. Garry's Mod is a 2006 sandbox game developed by Face Punch Studios and published by Valve. So it's a Valve thing.
Yeah.
The base game mode of Garry's Mod has no set objective and provides the player with a world in which to freely manipulate objects. Other game modes, notably Trouble in Terrorist Town and Prop Hunt, are created other developers as mods, are installed separately by means through Steam. Garry's Mod was created by Gary Newman, hence the name, as a mod for Valve's source game engine, developed. And I think Garry's Mod has been used to build like the base level of games that have gone on to be things like Half-Life and stuff.
Yeah, like Team Fortress 2
and Counter-Strike.
Has a 10 out of 10 on Steam, and 97% of people like it from just Google users.
So that's kind of, so it's basically a giant sandbox game for people to make whatever they want, because you can control like the character models, you can build your own world, you can go in and build your own everything, basically.
I remember playing Prop Hunt like almost a decade ago when I was in high school, which is crazy to say. It's almost been a decade since I've been in high school, but I remember playing Prop Hunt with friends.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't have articulated it as well as what you just read, but
it's essentially a giant sandbox game for people who want to build mods of other games.
Yeah.
And like there's a base level, a lot of it. The big one people use it for is Counter-Strike. If you've ever seen like Counter-Strike sketches, then they're like super popular on socials, like where people will like do skits inside of Counter-Strike with people. What's the one where the jaw drops like super low?
Skibidi
like
toilet?
That one's Skibidi. Yeah,
that's a huge one now. Is like that,
and that's a Garry's Mod thing.
Oh yeah, and like there's so many funny ones. There's
a ton of funny ones.
Oh my god, there's I can't play some of them just because they're kind of dated, but like there's so many like funny Garry's Mod videos back in the day.
Yeah.
There's the one I can't play it, but like it was like a recreation of the scene from Toy Story where he's like, Buzz, look at alien, and he like and it's it's like the engineer or like, and then Spy from Team Fortress 2, and he's like, Buzz, look at alien. And he goes, and he flicks the thing, like I love that he flicks the. Oh my god, it's so funny.
But yes, so it sucks because, like, for people that are using the Garry's modded Nintendo content to create stuff on YouTube. The problem is, like, it comes into they can strike it because they do own those IPs. But I guess my question is, would that not infringe on like transformative content?
I don't think.
I don't. So. Is it because it's using their IP proper?
I think because they're not making anything. That's a slippery slope. I honestly,
that's what I'm saying. It's like, where does that line?
Because when it comes to copyright stuff, the way I understand it, and again, like, the whole copyright system is like taxes to me. Like, you can explain it to me a million times like a toddler, and my brain just still struggles to recreate it and to explain it to some people. I just do that with everything though. But essentially, just the baseline thing you need to know about it is, from we need a lawyer. Where's Saul Goodman when you need? If it's transformative, like parody, for example, is protected under, because if you're adding like commentary or critique, or it's something brand new, like parody is protected under that.
I would think that this would be considered parody, in my opinion, because it is quite literally, they're not remaking the game inside of Garry's mod and then just releasing the game.
They're just using the assets.
They're using the assets for skits. So I would think that would be parody, but who's going to fight Nintendo on that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's kind of like using Mickey.
I think that's
Mickey Mouse
is like the problem. People do that all the time.
Well, he's like public domain now. I mean, make sure.
Well, yeah, he is.
Okay, cool.
So is like Pooh.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
So only the version of Mickey Mouse as Steamboat Willie is public domain. I think
that's the distinction. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but
the distinction.
I don't know, man. That's a good question. I don't know what you would determine as transformative or as not in that term. But the thing is,
I think if you took it to court, you could argue that it is transformative. But the problem is, who's going to take Nintendo to court over a YouTube video?
And who's going to win against a corporate lawyer? Dude, the reason that companies do that is like they have a very, very good legal team. And that's why they're rolling it. So the thing is,
man.
All I got to say
ninjas,
about
baby, the Nintendo ninjas, baby,
they are, and like, I don't know. To me, it all started when they started shutting down Smash tournaments. Like Nintendo has been community, anti-community, anti-user, just like. But they live under this guise of like being family friendly and being like, oh, this is for everyone. Just don't do it the way we. Just do it our way. And if you don't, we're gonna fuck you.
I think there is inherently a problem there, right? So you want it to be. I think as a game, like, you want it to be family friendly, and they design their games to be family friendly, right? But people want it to be community focused. Inherently, with community, becomes non-family friendly environments.
I also think
I think that's their problem, especially with the Smash thing. I think that's their problem. If you ever watch a Smash tournament, it's not for kids.
No, hell no.
You do not. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if a kid like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old who loves Smash Bros. Wants to watch a Smash tournament, like, that's not for their age group.
There's that, and also Sakurai's vision for the games were to be so that everybody can enjoy them and everybody can play them. But when you add that like super
competitive
which
nature,
is stupid because, well, no, okay, that's a loaded statement. It's flawed. Let's say flawed because
it's a flawed way of thinking.
Yeah, I don't want to say stupid. That's way too harsh, but it's flawed because you want it to be a party game and you want it to be for everyone. However, I think this goes into like just Nintendo as a whole too.
Yeah.
They're so out of touch with the fact that, do you know who's mainly playing your games now? Like, a lot of kids and a lot of new people are
20 and 30-year-olds.
But also your other demographic are like 30 and 40-year-olds who grew up with the NES. So why are you alienating them too? It's just like, it feels so out of touch to me, you know, like it feels, and I had a conversation with a friend of mine.
And all of the content creators are 30 and 40-year-olds.
The people that are like playing your games and giving you free advertisement, by the way.
And all your streamers are 20-year-olds, you know what I mean? So like
20, 30, 40, you know, like people that grew up on like Super Nintendo games. I had a conversation with a friend of mine recently about all of this. They made a pretty good point that I didn't think of. It could possibly be a cultural thing. So
it very much could.
I'm gonna ask a rhetorical question of like, and this is just like a thing to think about. When does culture, where do you draw the line for culture to where it like, okay, how do I articulate this? So there's like morals and ethics, right? When does, how do I even ask this? It's like, when does culture, where do you draw the line for culture when it becomes ethically and morally corrupt?
Well, it's not, but it's not though. That's the problem. Like it's not
right. So
like what they're doing isn't. I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I don't know how to articulate that question.
But it's not. That's a little too.
It's nuanced.
It's a little too. That's a little too extreme of a statement.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like when does it? Like when does like
when? Okay, so as a business, here's how I would probably say this. When as a business would you diverge from your cultural standings to then grow that company? Or when would you diverge from your culture when your culture is not your, like, the main people that play? I mean, Nintendo is a worldwide company, right? So if you are becoming a worldwide company, you have to think like a worldwide organization. So when does your thought go from we are a Japanese company to we are a worldwide company?
That's kind of what I'm asking is like, and again, it's very, very rhetorical, very just like
obviously, like how do you? I mean, that's a there are people way above our pay grade making that decision, man.
I know, and there are people way above our pay grade who are so way more educated to answer that. And so I'm not going to sit here and act like I have the answers to that, but it's something that I think about is like how much is culture influencing their decisions to make these, like, because it seems like from the outside looking in that the decisions that they're making are very anti-consumer and anti-consumer, anti-gamer,
community.
Yeah, all these things are like hurting, but they're still a successful. They make good shit.
Yeah,
and they're still successful. Like the Switch is unbelievably successful. But it's just
I think it crossed into the number one selling console of all time.
Yeah, and recently. But the decisions that they're making, it's just like, it's almost there's a comment that I read that pretty much illustrates it perfectly. It's very over exaggerated, but it's like Nintendo nukes an orphanage for having a child in it named Luigi. You know what I mean? It's like, it's That's super funny. Extreme, but like, you know what I mean? It's they will sue for anything. They will do whatever they can to, in the name of protecting their property, but they're really just like, I don't know. It just comes across as very out of touch, very, very like, because like, yeah, they do have every right to DMCA claim all that stuff on Steam.
Yeah.
But why? What are they gaining? Like, what are they?
Yeah.
They're just, it essentially is like strong arming, to me. I don't know. And I could be wrong. I could be off base with all this. Who knows? But from the outside looking in, like, it seems shitty. And a lot of people have problems with it. A lot of people are upset. And I like what I was watching a video, shout out Moist Critical, or Charlie was like, because he was just joking. And I don't want to misquote it, but I think he says something along the lines of, Nintendo must be the most soulless, joyless company in the world right now, because it's just like they are so anti-fun. Like you have to do everything exactly our way, and if you deviate from that even a little bit, we're coming for you. So
or they don't give indie, taking it back to the indie thing, like it's really hard for indie developers to get on their platform sometimes, even though that's like their main demographic, or Switch players. I don't know, man.
It's a wild situation.
It's a wild situation. I would say, as we wrap up, guys, how did we feel about the nerd news segment today? Because I actually really enjoyed this.
I do too. It keeps us sharp. It keeps us thinking. It keeps us in the loop, because we obviously are very passionate about gaming and media and
nerdy culture,
nerdy things, because that's like our lives, but like, and we like to make sure that basically just people care. It's with anything, like sports people would be the same way about like sports and their team. It's just like you need something to kind of gravitate towards, and to, everybody has their thing and this is ours. So we care. But I really enjoyed it. I like talking about these things. I like talking about the indie games that I need to get, sort of the state of AAA gaming, and how big studios are kind of dropping the ball when these like smaller studios and independent studios and like independent developers, just one person, literally right now in the climate, one person could have a really, really good idea and just take off. So,
and that's super cool. I love that.
Me too.
Chloe, unbiased. It was fun. I think it'll keep the podcast fresh as well. I agree.
Absolutely.
That is why I was very excited about this episode. It'll also allow us to do things like dip into other topics kind of more easily.
Yep.
Because we want to talk about books, we want to talk about tabletop games and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. And I think keeping that in the conversation on the news side of things will be easy. Like we talked about movies today and TV shows today as well. So it's like keeping all of that in the spectrum of the podcast. I think it'll be a good way to, keep it fresh and not just so music and video game focused.
Yep. And we'll
even though we will probably talk a lot about those things.
Yeah, we're doing our we're doing our best.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
But thank you guys for watching.
We're doing our best, goof.
We're doing our best, Maxie. Sign us off, Andrew.
Thank you so much for listening to the Things We Like podcast. If you didn't catch us live, what are you doing? Come hang out on Mondays around 10:30 Eastern, sometimes later, sometimes earlier. I don't know. It just kind of depends on what we can do. But that's kind of when we do it on Brooks's channel at Bad Look Brooks. And if you missed it and you want to catch the VOD, go over to the Things We Like channel at Things We Like Pod on YouTube. Or if you don't like looking at our faces for some reason, I get it. So if you want to listen to the audio version, check it out on all audio platforms at Things We Like Pod, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Brooks, what's the last words for the day?
What do I have to say to end this? I got nothing. I'm rendered speechless today. You have rendered me speechless.
Yeah. Hey, we did it. Thanks for coming, guys. Like, subscribe, share it with a friend. Later.
See ya. Bye.